Hello and welcome back to another very exciting video tutorial about projection 3D. Today we're going to take a look at creating this amazing sci-fi scene. So if you're ready, let's get started. Create a new composition, 1920 by 1080. Click OK. Then drag the image to the composition window and fit it to comp size. Okay, let's give the name and click Match Camera. Click Yes to create a project and specify the directory where you want to save. After saving the project, the FSpy window and the project folder open immediately. In the project folder, we have the FSpy project file. Just drag it to FSpy window. Great. Now we need to match these lines with the image to find the right angle and the place from which the image was taken. Let's match the green lines along the road line and the red lines across the road width. Mark the focal length so that it becomes active. Let's make the focal length 13 millimeters. Something like so, and the focal length is exactly what we wanted. Let's enable XY grid floor. As you can see, the Z-axis points down. To fix this, in Vanishing Point Axis tab, change X to -X. Now everything is correct. Let's save the work we've done and just close FSpy. And you can see that the ready-made camera automatically exported to After Effects. Now for convenience, let's match the grid with the image so that using the grid parameters, we can quickly and easily create the environment. Click here to unhide helper grid. Disable scale on all axes and increase scale along Z so that the back of the grid reaches the horizon. Then scale it along X to cover the entire image. Also along Y. And it's done. Now we can create the environment surface using the grid properties. Hide the grid, select the camera and the image, and click Create Projection. Here we have to specify the number of scenes, and 2 scenes will be enough for this scene. The name is already entered, so click OK. Great. The projection is created. Now we need to create a surface onto which the image will be projected. Double-click on Scene 2. Let's create the environment surface using the grid properties. That's why we adjusted the grid. We only need the bottom and back parts of the grid. So click here, uncheck the left side, and click Create Surface using grid properties. Great, the environment is created. Let's take a look. Hold Alt, and using the left mouse button, try to move the camera. As you can see, this is no longer an image, but a 3D scene, and we can move around in it. Actually, we can consider the scene complete and start animating the rover. But let's make it better. Let's create these rocky mountains on the sides to make the scene look more realistic. To do that, first we must find their position in our scene. Select Bottom Plane and generate a position on the foreground at the foot of the mountain. And generate a second position at the foot of the far side. Then select both position points and create a plane by clicking Generate Plane from Points button. Great. As you can see, we've created a plane directed into the depth with the same orientation as the mountain. Just need to scale it to cover the entire mountain. And tilt it slightly. And done. Let's mask it to get rid of unnecessary. Great. Let's see. Yes, it's done. Let's create the right one. As before, generate position at the foot of the near side and the position of the far side to find the orientation. Great. Let's create a plane. Make it bigger. And tilt it. Done. Let's mask it. Okay, let's see what we've done. Switch to Object View. Using Camera Tool, let's look at the scene from a different angle. I disable the backside to see better. As you can see, it now looks like kind of a valley. A valley surrounded by rocky mountains. Okay, let's move on. It remains only to create this rock in the foreground. Select Bottom Plane and generate its position. And generate second position to find the orientation of the rock. And then just select both points and create a plane. Great. Let's draw a mask along the outline of the rock. And done. Now press Ctrl D to duplicate and push it back. Correct the mask along the outline. Select both planes. So we created two masks that forms a kind of a 3D outline of the stone. Using them, we will create the stone. Open the Modeling Toolkit and switch to the Mask Modeler tab. Can check Show Masks to see the contours of the future surface. Okay, make sure the masks are selected. Mark front and back faces to cap the holes. And click Create Surface. And done. Stone modeling is complete. Can close the Modeling Toolkit. Now we need to separate the foreground objects from the background because they overlap the background, and in the image there is no information what's behind. So we need to move all the foreground objects into the first scene and restore those parts of the background that were not visible when the image was taken. Select the mountains, the stone, then press Ctrl X and move them to the first scene. Ctrl V to paste. Great. Let's take a look. So, the environment is in the second scene, and the foreground objects are in the first scene. All that remains is to remove the foreground objects in Scene 2 and restore the background behind them. To do that, click on the first icon at the top of the second scene and select Open in Photoshop. Done. Select Remove Tool and get rid of unnecessary objects. The first one is ready. Don't touch the shadow. Also the top of this mountain. And these two also need to be removed. And that's it. Can save the image. Specify the project folder directory. Enter the name and save. Now let's do the opposite. Remove the background and leave the foreground objects. Return to the source image. Using Quick Selection tool, select the mountains on the left. Like this. Then select the mountain on the right. and also the stone. Great. Press Ctrl-J to duplicate the selected objects. And let's save it as PNG file with an alpha channel. Type the name and save. That's it. Can close the Photoshop. Now we need to replace the projection images in the projection scenes. Click on Replace Projection Image icon at the top of the second scene and select the background image. See? Only the clean background. Let's also replace the projection image in the scene 1. Select PNG file. As you can see, the unwanted areas have turned white, and only the clean mountains remain. Basically, our scene is ready. All that remains is to convert the scene to OBJ format. Let's do that quickly. Select bottom and back planes, that is the parts of our environment surface, and open 3D Object Converter. Enter the name. Increase model smoothing value to 8, and click Mask Non-Projected Areas. As you can see, for some reason the mask doesn't cover the entire ground. Let's fix this manually. Now everything is fine. Select both parts of the environment and click Convert to OBJ. Excellent. The environment surface has been converted. Let's also convert the foreground objects. Select the mountains. Type the name. Reduce model smoothing to 6 and click Convert to OBJ. Good. Let's take a look. Looks cool, but the rock in the foreground still remains. Select it. Type the name. For this object can reduce model smoothing value to 3, since it already has a lot of polygons. And that's it. We have finished the modeling. Hold Alt and right mouse button to move forward with camera tool. As you can see, this is no longer an image. We did a very good job of recreating this landscape in 3D space. Now it's time to add the rover in our scene. Open your browser and go to the website, sketchfab.com. Type Rover in the search. Here, this is the model that we need. Excellent model, isn't it? Very detailed, with good textures. Here's the download link. You can see that it's free, and we need to download it in GLB format. Click Download and specify our project folder. Great. Go back to After Effects. Let's import the model and place it here. Click File, Import Image/3D Model, find the rover model and import it. And done. Notice that it was immediately imported into the 3D models scene, where all our 3D models are located, and it's big for our scene. Let's make it smaller. Great. Now the size looks normal. Let's rotate it 90 degrees. Now switch to Object View. As you can see, it's half underground, so raise the rover to adjust its position. Excellent. Return to Active Camera View. Let's start Animate the rover. Push it back. Press P to open the position value and add key. Move to the 5th second and drag the model forward along the road. You can move it along the curve of the road. We will transform the motion path later. Make it curved. Great. Select the keys, right-click, and choose Keyframe Interpolation. In the Spatial Interpolation tab, change Linear to Continuous Bezier. Click OK. As you can see, the Bezier curve handles of the motion path have appeared. Using them, make the path curved. Switch to Top View and adjust the second key point. Very good. Now the motion path exactly follows the road curve. Let's move the time indicator forward and check. Okay, the rover followed the path, but it's not oriented correctly. To fix this, right-click on it, then select Transform Auto Orient. Choose Orient Along Path and click OK. Check again. Perfect. Now it's not only follows the path, it's oriented along the curve of the path. Okay, it's time to animate the camera. Click P and Shift A to open camera's position and point of interest. Let's lower the camera, move it closer to the rover. Great, this will be our starting position. Go to the end of the animation and simply apply Default View to return to the default position. Let's raise up a little more. And it's done. Let's pre-render and take a look. Looks cool, isn't it? All that remains is to integrate the rover into our environment, add shadows, light. All right, so to do that, go to our 3D model scene, right-click and add a new light. Choose Environment Light. Make sure that Cast Shadows are checked and click OK. Good. Now we need to show the light our environment so that it can take information from there. This technique is called image-based lighting, and it allows you automatically light your scene using lighting data captured from the image. So let's find in the project window our source image and drag it to the composition window. Then under the light source settings, choose our image. Now, as you can see, the light is interacting with our object. Let's increase the intensity. Very well. Let's disable the grid to see better. Now create a new solid to add a shadow. Make it 3D. Click R on the keyboard and rotate it 90 degrees along the x-axis. Then click P to open the position parameters and reset all values. Just like this, as if this is our land. Then press S and make it bigger. Also, let's move it back along Z and raise up a little. And done, but we still can't see the shadow. Go to the Renderer Options menu. Here we have Casting Box Size option. Let's increase it to 10,000. And you can see that the shadow has appeared. Let's check if the shadow works in every frame of the animation. And as you can see, here it disappears. Let's check the rover's position along the Z. In the middle of the animation, its position value is around 4,000. We need to enter this value into the Renderer options here in Casting Box Center tab. Done. It works. Check again. Yes, now it works in every frame of the animation. Now, so that the white surface disappears and only the shadow remains, click AA on keyboard and in Material Options tab, set Accept Shadows Only. And that's it. Our scene is complete. Looks perfect, I think. Only motion blur is missing. Go to the master scene, select 3D object scene. Then go to Effect, Time, and apply Pixel Motion Blur. Great, let's pre-render and see. Performance has dropped noticeably, but that's okay. It's the final result. And we did a great job. Looks amazing. As you can see, creating such fantastic scenes has become very easy with Projection 3D. All right, guys, this is it. I hope you liked the tutorial and it was useful for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.